Now that you've practiced rewriting literal equations, solving for a variable, we're going to answer a word problem together using that skill. So the first question says the formula F equals 9/5 C plus 32 gives the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit if you know the temperature in degrees Celsius. What if you know the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit instead? It would be useful to also have a formula for degrees Celsius in terms of degrees Fahrenheit. What is the formula for C in terms of F? And the hint here is to solve for C. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to copy the equation exactly the way that it's written. So I have F equals 9/5 C plus 32. Now I want to try to get C by itself. This is kind of similar to some of the examples we did together before. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to recognize that C is being multiplied by a fraction, and then 32 is added to it. So I want to subtract 32 first to try to isolate the C term. So I'm going to subtract 32. And now we cannot actually subtract F minus 32. They're not like terms, but I can write that as an expression. So F minus 32 equals 9/5 or 9/5 C. Now the next step, I'm multiplying C by 9/5. Now I could divide by 9/5, but dividing fractions gets a little bit complicated. Instead, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So if I multiply 9/5 by 5/9, 9/5 and 5/9, those are multiplicative inverses. They're reciprocals. It means that when you multiply these two numbers, you get just the number 1. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5/9. And when I do that, I end up with just C on the right-hand side. The 9/5 and the 5/9, those are going to cancel each other out. And on the left, I'm going to leave it in that fraction, 5/9, and I'm going to use parentheses to show that I'm going to multiply both F and negative 32 by that fraction. And I'm going to leave it just like that. Now, if you wanted to, you could distribute from there. You could multiply 5/9 times both numbers, but I'm going to leave it just like this. All right. Now that I have this formula, I can use that to answer the next question. It says use the formula to convert 86 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. So if I want to use the formula, I've got my formula here, C equals, I'm just flipping the order, 5/9 times my degrees Fahrenheit, I'm going to plug in 86. So I have 86 minus 32. And we want to figure out what that is. So what I would probably do at this point is I would subtract what's in the parentheses. So I'm going to leave it as 5/9 times 86 minus 32. If I do that subtraction, I get 54. And now at this point, you could use a calculator, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to multiply. I'm going to write this in fraction form, 5/9 times 54/1. And then 5 times 54 is 270 over 9 times 1, which is 9. And when I divide those two, I get 30. And that is my degrees. So what that means is that 86 degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 30 degrees Celsius.